The human woke up slowly. At first, he did not know where he was. The ceiling above him was smooth and curved, glowing with a soft blue light. It was not metal, not stone, and not anything he had seen before. The air felt warm and clean, carrying a faint, sweet scent. He tried to move and froze. Someone was beside him. He turned his head carefully. His breath stopped. Lying next to him was an alien princess. Her skin shimmered like moonlight, pale silver with faint glowing lines that moved slowly like living stars. Her long hair spread across the bed, dark purple with hints of blue. She looked peaceful, calm, unaware of the danger around them. A thin royal crest glowed softly on her forehead, marking her as high royalty. The human's heart began to race. Humans were not allowed near alien royalty, not in private chambers, not in a royal bed. If discovered, punishment would be swift and deadly. He sat up slowly, trying not to make a sound. His mind raced. How did he get here? The last thing he remembered was escort duty after the diplomatic banquet. There had been an attack, alarms, smoke. He had protected someone. The princess stirred. He froze again. Her eyes opened slowly, glowing softly like distant suns. When she saw him, there was no fear in her expression, only surprise. And then relief. "You are awake," she said quietly, her voice gentle and calm. "Yes," the human replied, keeping his voice low. "We should not be here." "I know," she said, "but you were injured. I brought you somewhere safe." Safe. The word felt heavy. Before either of them could say more, a deep sound echoed through the chamber. The door was opening. The sound was slow, powerful, final. The human stood up instantly, his body moving on instinct. He stepped away from the bed, standing straight, his hands visible. His training told him one truth: do not look guilty. Do not look weak. The door slid fully open. The Queen Mother entered. She was tall, taller than any alien he had seen. Her presence filled the room without effort. Her robes were dark gold, heavy with symbols of ancient power. Her eyes burned with sharp intelligence and authority. Behind her stood 2 royal guards, hands resting near their weapons. The temperature in the room seemed to drop. The Queen Mother's gaze moved from the bed to the princess, and finally to the human. Time stopped. No one spoke. The guards tensed. One small move from the human would be enough for them to strike. The princess slowly sat up. "Mother," she said, her voice steady. "Please." The Queen Mother raised one hand. Silence returned. "You will speak when I allow it," she said calmly. Her eyes never left the human. "A human," she continued, "in my daughter's private chamber. At dawn." The human did not bow, not because he was disrespectful, but because he did not know how. Instead, he lowered his head slightly, a human sign of respect. "I was ordered to protect," he said simply. "I did my duty." The Queen Mother's eyes narrowed. Most beings begged when facing her. Most trembled. This human did neither. "Protection does not explain the bed," she said. The princess spoke again, carefully. "He was wounded. I chose to stay. That was my decision." The guards looked shocked. No one questioned the Queen Mother, not even her daughter. The Queen Mother studied the princess for a long moment. Then she looked back at the human. "You slept," she said slowly, "beside the future ruler of this empire." "Yes," the human answered honestly, "but I did not harm her." The Queen Mother stepped closer. Every step felt like a judgment. "Interesting," she said softly. "You show fear, yet you stand firm." She turned to the guards. "Lower your weapons." The guards hesitated, but obeyed. The human exhaled quietly, but he did not relax. The Queen Mother looked at both of them and spoke words that would change everything. "This morning," she said, "will decide how the galaxy sees humanity." And with that, the forbidden morning truly began. The room remained silent after the Queen Mother's words. The human stood still, his back straight, his hands relaxed at his sides. Inside, his thoughts moved fast, but his face showed nothing. Years of training had taught him one rule when power watches you. Calm is your strongest shield. The Queen Mother circled him slowly. Her steps were quiet, yet each one felt heavy. The guards watched closely, ready to act if she gave a single signal. The princess remained seated on the bed, her hands clenched together, her eyes fixed on her mother. "You claim duty," the Queen Mother said. "But duty has limits." "Yes," the human replied, "but survival does not." That answer caused movement in the room. The guards glanced at each other. Aliens valued rules, order, and command. Survival to them was something planned and controlled. Spoken so simply, the word sounded dangerous. The Queen Mother stopped in front of him. "Humans," she said, "are known for chaos, for emotion, for poor control." The human lifted his eyes and met her gaze, not in challenge, not in fear, but with honesty. "Maybe," he said, "but chaos can still stand when systems fail." The Queen Mother studied him closely now, not as an enemy, not as a guest, but as something unknown. "Leave us," she ordered the guards. They hesitated. "You heard me." The guards bowed and exited the chamber. The doors slid shut behind them, sealing the room. Only three remained: the Queen Mother, the princess, and the human. The silence felt heavier now. "Mother," the princess said softly, "he saved my life." "I am aware," the Queen Mother replied. "That is why he still breathes." She turned to the human again. "Explain," she said. "From the beginning." The human took a breath. "There was an attack during the banquet," he said. "It was fast, explosives, confusion. My unit was assigned to outer security, but when the alarm sounded, protocols changed." He paused, remembering. "I saw her separated from her escort. She did not panic. She tried to help others." That hesitation almost killed her. The princess lowered her eyes. "I moved without orders," he continued. "I covered her. I took a hit. After that, I remember darkness." "You woke here," the Queen Mother said. "Yes." The Queen Mother turned to her daughter. "You broke royal law." "I did," the princess said. "I would do it again." The Queen Mother held her gaze for a long moment. Then she nodded once. "Courage," she said, "or recklessness. Sometimes they wear the same face." She walked toward the window, looking out at the alien city below. Towers of light stretched into the sky. Ships moved like silent stars. "Our people believe strength is shown through control," she said. "We design our world to remove uncertainty." She turned back. "But you," she said to the human, "come from a species that lives inside uncertainty." The human said nothing. "Tell me," the Queen Mother continued, "why did you not leave the bed before dawn?" The question was sharp. "Woke up moments before you arrived," he answered. "If I had time, I would have left." The Queen Mother's eyes narrowed. "And if you had not?" "I would have faced whatever came," he said simply. That answer lingered in the air. The Queen Mother stepped closer again, her voice lower now. "Humans feel fear strongly," she said. "Yet you stand before me without shaking." "I am afraid," the human replied. "But fear does not decide my actions. Responsibility does." The Queen Mother was silent, then she smiled, just slightly. "A rare answer," she said. "Most beings fear punishment more than failure." She straightened. "This incident will not be hidden," she announced. "The council will hear of it. The nobles will demand explanation. Some will demand blood." The princess stiffened. "Mother," the Queen Mother raised her hand again. "I will not allow a rushed judgment," she said. "Not yet." She looked at the human one last time. "You will remain under observation," she said. You are neither prisoner nor guest. She paused. You are a question. The human nodded. Then I will answer honestly. The Queen Mother turned toward the door. This morning, she said, has already changed more than you know. As the doors opened, the human realized one truth. He had not survived judgment. He had entered something far more dangerous. Interest. The chamber of observation was cold and white. The human stood at its center, alone. Smooth walls surrounded him, glowing softly with symbols that shifted and moved like slow thoughts. He could feel unseen eyes watching from behind the walls. This place was not meant to hurt him. It was meant to measure him. He preferred battlefields. There, danger was honest. A soft voice filled the room. Begin. The floor beneath his feet changed. Gravity pressed down harder. His knees bent slightly. But he did not fall. His muscles tensed, his breath slowed. He had trained in worse conditions, on broken ships and dying worlds. The pressure increased again. Alien scientists watched from above, surprised. Most species collapsed at half this force. The human adjusted his stance and endured. Heart rate rising, one scientist said. Within survival range, another replied. The gravity released suddenly. The human staggered once, then steadied himself. Next phase, the voice said. A sharp light flashed. The room filled with sound screams, explosions, warning alarms. Images appeared on the walls. Burning cities, falling ships, faces crying for help. The human's jaw tightened. These were not random images. They were human memories. Emotional. Stress test, an alien observer said. His species reacts strongly to loss. The human closed his eyes for a moment. He had seen these things before, not as images, as life. He opened his eyes again and faced the walls. His breathing slowed. Images continued, growing worse. A child reaching out. A soldier trapped under metal. A world burning in silence. The human's hands curled into fists. But he did not scream. He did not beg. He stood. Stress levels increasing, a scientist noted. But control remains. The images faded. The room returned to white silence. Why does he not break? One alien asked quietly. Because humans do not release pain, another answered slowly. They carry it. The door opened. The Queen Mother entered the observation chamber, her expression unreadable. She had watched every moment. She had expected defiance, rage, collapse. She had not expected endurance. Ask him, she said. The walls shifted, opening a small platform. The human stepped forward. Do you understand why we showed you this? The Queen Mother asked. Yes. He replied. You wanted to see what stops me, and what does. She asked. He thought for a moment. Nothing, he said. Only what I choose. That answer unsettled the room. The Queen Mother studied him carefully. Your people are fragile, she said. Your bodies break easily compared to ours. Yes. The human agreed. And yet, she continued, you endure things that destroy stronger species. He met her gaze. We break, he said. Then we keep moving. The Queen Mother turned to the observers. Bring the next subject. The door opened again, and another figure entered. The alien princess. She had insisted on being present. The human's eyes widened slightly. You should not be here. I chose to be, she said. The Queen Mother watched them closely. Why did you save her? The Queen Mother asked suddenly. The question echoed in the chamber. The human did not answer at once. She was not your mission. The Queen Mother pressed. She is not your kind. The human looked at the princes, then back at the Queen. Mother. She was there, he said. That was enough. The princes felt something tighten in her chest. The Queen Mother was silent for a long time. Our people calculate worth, she said. Power, rank, value. She stepped closer to the human. You calculate presence, she said. Existence. She turned away slowly. Humans are dangerous, she said quietly, not because of strength, but because of choice. The tests ended. The human was escorted out, not in chains, but not free. As he walked through the halls, whispers followed him. The human endured. He did not break. He did not submit. In the royal chamber, the Queen Mother stood alone. For the first time, she said to herself, "We may have misunderstood the weakest species in the galaxy." Far away, alarms began to sound. Something was coming, and humanity was about to be tested on a much larger stage. Asterisk, the alarms did not scream. They hummed low, deep, calm. That alone frightened the royal council. The chamber filled with light as floating screens appeared in the air. Symbols turned red one by one. Stars shifted position. A dark shape moved slowly across the map. "The Void-born fleet," a council member said. "Confirmed." The Queen Mother stood at the center, her hands folded behind her back. Her face showed no fear, but her eyes were sharp. "How long?" she asked. "Less than 3 cycles," the strategist replied. "Their numbers exceed projections." The room filled with tension. The Voidborn were not raiders. They were erasers. They did not conquer worlds. They emptied them. "Our defense grid is strong," another noble said. "Our ships are advanced." "But predictable," the Queen Mother replied. Silence followed. She turned her gaze to the human, who stood near the edge of the chamber. He had not been invited to speak. He had not asked to be present. He was there because she wanted to observe him. He studied the star map quietly. "What do you see?" the Queen Mother asked suddenly. All eyes turned to him. The human hesitated. "You want honesty?" "Yes," she said. "You're already losing," he replied. Angry voices erupted at once. "This is arrogance. A human insult. Remove him." The Queen Mother raised her hand. The chamber fell silent. "Explain," she said. The human pointed to the map. "You're defending every point equally," he said. "That means none of them matter." The alien strategists exchanged looks. "We protect all worlds," one said proudly. "That's the problem," the human replied. "You should protect what matters most." Murmurs spread. The princess watched closely, her eyes thoughtful. "You assume the enemy will follow your logic," the human continued. "They won't. They will strike where you expect strength, not weakness." The Queen Mother stepped closer. "What would you do?" she asked. The human took a breath. "I would retreat," he said. Gasps filled the chamber. "Impossible!" a noble shouted. "We do not retreat." "I know," the human said calmly. "That's why they expect you to stand." The Queen Mother studied him carefully. "Continue." "You sacrifice outer systems," he said. "Make them look panicked, disorganized. Pull your fleet back into a narrow field. You invite destruction," the strategist argued. "No," the human replied. "You invite overconfidence." He moved his finger across the map. "When they push forward, you close the trap. Hit their supply lines. Cut communication. Don't fight their fleet. Starve it." The chamber was silent. This was not an alien plan. This was a human one. Risky, cold, efficient. The Queen Mother turned to her council. "You may leave us," she said. The nobles protested, but obeyed. When they were alone, she faced the human. "Your plan will cost worlds," she said. "Yes," he replied. "Yours will cost everything." The Queen Mother closed her eyes briefly. "You speak as if loss is acceptable," she said. "It's not," he answered. "But pretending loss does not exist is worse." She opened her eyes. "You would command this plan?" she asked. "No," he said. "I would stand where it breaks." The princess stepped forward. "Mother," she said. "Let him help." The Queen Mother looked at her daughter, then back at the human. "For thousands of cycles," she said, "we believed control was strength." She turned to the window. watching fleets begin to move. Perhaps, she said slowly, adaptation is stronger. She faced him again. You will advise, she said. Nothing more. That's enough, the human replied. Outside the palace, ships ignited their engines. Defense lines shifted. Signals spread across systems that the void-born fleet continued its advance. They did not know. The rules had changed as the human watched. The stars. He felt the old familiar weight return. This was not diplomacy. This was survival. And humanity understood survival better than anyone. Space was never silent during war. The stars burned calmly, but between them, ships moved like angry sparks. The royal fleet had pulled back, just as the human advised. To the void-born, it looked like fear. To the human, it looked like a breath. Before a strike, the human stood on the command deck of a forward cruiser. He was not in charge, officially, but the officers kept glancing at him, waiting. Void-born fleet entering the narrow field. An alien officer announced. Good, the human said softly. The princess stood nearby, watching him closely. She had never seen a being so calm with so much at risk. The void-born surged forward, their ships dark and sharp, moving with perfect order. They did not slow down. They did not scan for traps. They are confident, an officer said. They always are, the human replied, right before they lose. The first strike came without warning. Human-placed mines ignited behind the void-born formation. Not powerful enough to destroy ships, but enough to block retreat. Energy waves twisted space, forcing the enemy fleet forward. They are locked in, the human said. The royal fleet turned as one. Weapons fired. Light tore through space. Void-born answered with overwhelming force. Royal ships began to fall. Hulls broke. Signals went silent. A commander hesitated. Losses are heavy. Hold, the human said. The officer looked at him. We are dying. Yes, the human replied. So they believe we are desperate. A void-born command ship moved forward, leading the charge. It was massive, covered in dark armor. That's their core, the human said. All fire, now. The fleet obeyed. Energy beams struck the command ship again and again. Its shields cracked, then shattered. The ship burned. The void-born formation slowed. Confusion spread. They're reacting, the princess said. They've never been hunted, the human replied. Only followed plans. A warning flashed on the screen. Enemy boarding units detected. The human moved instantly. I'm going forward, he said. That is not your role. An officer protested. It is now. He grabbed a rifle and stepped toward the launch bay. The princess followed. No, he said firmly. You stay. She stopped, her eyes wide. You may not return, he met her gaze. Humans don't always plan to. He launched with a small strike team, human and alien soldiers mixed together. Their ship slammed into a void-born cruiser. Inside, darkness and smoke filled the halls. The void-born fought without fear. But they did not understand close combat. Humans moved fast, dirty, unpredictable. The human led from the front. He took hits. He fell. He rose again. Alien soldiers watched him fight with broken armor and bleeding wounds, and keep going. He should be down. One whispered. But he isn't. Another replied. They reached the reactor. The human planted the charge. Fall. Back! He shouted. They barely made it out. The void-born ship exploded behind them, tearing a hole through the enemy line. Across the battlefield, void-born ships began to retreat. The royal fleet pushed forward. Victory was no longer a question on the command deck. The Queen Mother watched in silence. He led, she said. Without title. Without crown. He stood. The princess replied softly. The battle ended. The void-born fleet fled into the dark. The human returned injured. Exhausted, but alive. As medics worked, alien officers bowed, not because they were ordered to, but because they chose. 2. The Queen Mother stepped forward. "Today," she said, "we learned something." She looked at the human. "When humans stand," she said, "others follow." The stars grew quiet again, but nothing would ever be the same. The battle was over. Space slowly returned to silence. But the silence felt different now. It was heavy, filled with loss, memory, and something new. The royal fleet drifted information, damaged but alive. Rescue ships moved between wrecks, collecting survivors. The human lay in a medical chamber, surrounded by soft lights and quiet machines. His body was tired beyond words. Every breath burned, but he stayed awake. Humans learned early that sleep could wake. The alien medic studied him with confusion. "You should be unconscious," the medic said. The human smiled faintly. Later, news of the battle spread quickly through the Empire. Screens across worlds showed the same images: void-born ships retreating, royal fleets holding the line, and one human fighting at the front. Many did not understand what they were seeing. He was not a commander, nobles argued. He had no rank, others said. Yet the truth remained. He had stood when others hesitated. The Queen Mother watched the reports in silence. She had ruled for centuries, guided by law, structure, and tradition. But traditions had nearly failed her people. She left the council chamber and walked alone through the palace halls. Servants bowed as she passed, but she did not notice. At last, she reached the medical wing. She entered the chamber without guards. The human tried to sit up. "Do not move," she said calmly. He obeyed. "You disobeyed orders," she said. Yes. He replied. "You risked your life," she continued. "Yes." "You changed the outcome of the war," she said. The human met her gaze. "Yes." The Queen Mother was silent for a long moment. "Our kind believes respect comes from position," she said. "From bloodlines and titles." She stepped closer. "You have none of these." The human said nothing. "Yet my soldiers followed you," she said, "not because they were told to, but because they trusted you." The princess entered quietly, standing beside her mother. "He did not command," she said. "He endured." The Queen Mother nodded slowly. "Humans earn respect," she said. "They do not wait for it." She turned to the human. "You are no longer under observation," she said. "You are under recognition." The words carried weight. Outside the chamber, alien soldiers gathered, not ordered, not summoned. They waited. When the human finally stood, weak but steady, they bowed. Not deeply, not formally, but sincerely. The human felt uncomfortable. "I only did what was needed," he said. The Queen Mother replied, "Is why it matters." A formal gathering was announced across the empire. Not a celebration, but acknowledgement. Humans stood before the royal court, still wearing simple armor, still bearing scars. Nobles watched him closely. The Queen Mother raised her staff. "Today," she said, "we correct a mistake." She looked at the court. "We believed humans were fragile," she said. "We believed they survived by luck." Her eyes returned to the human. "We were wrong." Murmurs filled the chamber. "Humans survive," she continued, "because they adapt, because they choose responsibility over safety." She paused. "And because they stand when standing has a cost." She turned to the human. "You may return to your people," she said, "or you may remain." The human looked at the princess. Then back at the Queen Mother. "My place is with humanity," he said. The Queen Mother nodded. "As it should be." The princess stepped forward. "You changed how we see the stars," she said softly. He bowed his head slightly. Outside, across distant systems, messages spread. Humanity was no longer ignored, no longer underestimated, not feared yet, but respected. And respect, once earned, never fades. The day the human left the palace, the stars seemed brighter. His ship waited on the launch platform, small compared to the massive alien vessels around it. It carried no royal marks, no weapons of pride. Just a human craft, worn by travel and time. The princess stood beside him in silence. She had said goodbye already, yet neither of them moved. "You will return to your people," she said softly. "Yes," the human replied. "They need to know what is coming." The Queen Mother watched from the steps above, her staff resting against the ground. When she spoke, her voice carried across the platform. "Human," she said, "you came here as a guard." She paused. "You leave as a truth." The human turned to face her. "Our alliance stands," she continued, "not built on fear, built on understanding." The human nodded. "That is how humans prefer it," he said. The Queen Mother gave a rare smile. "Then the galaxy will have to learn." The launch signal sounded. The princess stepped back. "Do not let them forget us," she said. "I won't," the human answered. The ship lifted into the sky, engines glowing softly. As it vanished into the stars, alien worlds watched in silence. Across the empire, messages spread. A human stood against the Voidborn. A human led without command. A human endured. On distant human colonies, the transmission arrived. Council halls fell quiet. Military leaders listened closely. Civilians watched the recordings again and again. A single truth settled in. The galaxy was watching humanity now. Not as prey, not as servants, not as background noise, but as a force. The Queen Mother stood before her council once more. "Prepare diplomatic channels," she said, "and defensive treaties." A noble hesitated. "With humans?" they asked. "With anyone who understands them," she replied. She looked out at the stars. "They are not loud," she said. "They do not demand worship." She turned back. "They simply refuse to fall." The princess stood alone at the window of her chamber, watching the stars where the human had disappeared. For the first time, she felt hope mixed with fear. Humans were unpredictable, but they were honest in one thing. They never stopped that far across space. The human's ship entered human territory. Patrol vessels approached, weapons ready. "Identify yourself," a voice demanded. The human responded calmly. "I bring a warning," he said, "and an opportunity." The ships escorted him in silence. Soon human leaders gathered around him. He told them everything. The Queen Mother, the Voidborn, the war. The respect earned. When he finished, the room was silent. One leader spoke carefully. "They noticed us," he said. "Yes," the human replied. "Will they fear us?" The human shook his head. "Not yet," he said. "They respect us." Another leader leaned forward. "And if they push us?" The human's eyes hardened. "Then they will learn," he said, "why humans survive." Preparations began, not for conquest, for readiness, for unity. Across the galaxy, whispers grew. Humans were not the strongest, not the fastest, not the most advanced. But when the dawn came, they stood, and the galaxy remembered.